So thank you everybody for joining us today. My name is Michelle with Celerant. Oh, hold on just one second. I'm having some kind of issue here. Can you still hear me, Easton?
I can, yes.
Okay, so I'm going to just leave that be. I'm having a technical issue. So again, my name is Michelle here with Celerant, and with me today is Easton from NASGW, and we are excited to be working together on this project called SCOPE CLX. For some reason, I can't see the screen. My computer is frozen. Do you still see my camera, Easton?
I can, yes.
Okay.
Can you see my slides?
Yeah, no, my laptop just froze. I'm waiting for it to respond. So I will just wing it.
No worries.
So
I'm on your About Celerant slide.
Okay, great. So a little bit about Celerant. For those of you who don't know who we are, we do have quite a few existing customers on the presentation today, and that's great. And we also have some other dealers who are not yet using our software. And then we also have some distributor partners and also manufacturers on the presentation as well. And that's one of the reasons really why this program is so exciting, because the goal for this program is to really benefit the entire industry, from the manufacturers to the distributors to the dealers, to really help everybody make better decisions through data. And so at Celerant, we are a complete retail point of sale and e-commerce provider. We provide a complete solution for the firearms industry for both in-store and online. We have 4 offices. Our main office is in New York, and that's the office that I'm joining you from, although today I'm in my home office in New Jersey. But we have another office in Atlanta, California, and also Texas. And while we are a newer partner with the NASGW, we've been a preferred point of sale and e-commerce provider for both the NSSF and the NRA for close to, I want to say, about 15 years. And Easton, you want to introduce NASGW?
Yeah, hi everyone. So Easton Kaboshik, I'm the director of, and that's Kaboshik, Michelle, from NASGW, good old Czech name. And I serve as the director of data programs for our wholesalers, and as Michelle mentioned, now SCOPE CLX and our retail partners here today. So just a little bit about NASGW for those of you unfamiliar. We're the industry association, very similar to NSSF and NRA in the sporting goods and shooting sports industry. And our primary purpose is representing all of the businesses in the two-step supply chain. So our core membership are distributors, folks like Sport South, Lipsy's, Davidson's, RSR, Big Rock are the larger ones, but we have up to 30 distributors on an annual basis that are our core membership. And then we also serve, of course, the affiliate member businesses in sporting goods, like our manufacturing friends, Ruger, Sig Sauer, big partners of ours, and Glock. And now we have the pleasure through our programs like SCOPE CLX to serve retailers as well. So that's our role really, and what makes this program unique is, as Michelle mentioned, we're truly an industry nonprofit association and doing a program that benefits all of our businesses in our industry as a whole. So with that, Michelle, I don't know if you want to cover the agenda. I'm happy to do that too. Or
no, I can. Yeah, my go-to meeting is still frozen, but I pulled up the PDF, so I'm okay. So thank you, Easton, for that. So today we're going to go through quite a bit. First, we're going to learn about SCOPE CLX and the importance of the project and really why it's important for dealers to participate and how it helps the industry across the board. And then we'll talk through just the value of supporting not just your business, but the industry overall. It's the data that will be made accessible to each of you as a firearm dealer will really help you make better buying decisions, while it also helps both the manufacturers and the distributors across the board with supply and demand. And then we'll talk through how to get started. It's actually really easy and of course costs you nothing as a dealer to participate. And so since you're our client, well, most of you on the call are already our client using our point of sale, it's really easy to just get hooked up. And we share all the data that is required straight from your point of sale to the NASGW. And then they take that data and aggregate it for their reports. And so Easton will then walk us through some sample reports, and we'll take a look at some of the analytics that will be made available to you. And then at the end, We'll learn a little bit more about Celerant for those of you who are not yet clients of ours, and I'll walk you through just how our software can help dealers better manage their store, both brick and mortar and also e-commerce.
Sounds good. So as Michelle mentioned, the bulk of our conversation today is about SCOPE, which I mentioned NASGW. Our mission and our entire purpose is bringing the businesses along the two-step distribution channel together to help everyone be more successful. SCOPE is a set of data-driven programs that help all of those businesses do that by collecting and analyzing and sharing better information. And so as you can see here on the slide, Michelle, just to double check, you can see my mouse moving, correct?
Well, I actually can't see anything.
Oh, that's right. You're I'm hoping everyone else can. And if you have questions, you can. Perfect. Excellent. I didn't want to be pointing around and not have any reaction. So, and an open invitation to all the participants. I'm not used to doing the webinar style. It's more of a conversation. So if you do have questions, I have my question panel up, and I'm happy to answer those as we go through or jump back. So anyway, SCOPE really is designed to benefit the businesses along the supply chain, retailers, distributors, manufacturers, by collecting and sharing information. And the reality is our industry as a whole is so relational and so gut feel in our experience is how we run our businesses, that we're actually, we're falling behind in this data-driven world. The healthcare and finance industries have been leveraging, this quote unquote big data for a long time. And so this is our industry effort to make not only steps in the right direction, but a leap toward better business intelligence, so that we have the products we need when that consumers are demanding. We have the right production levels. We can start to anticipate where the market's going to go, even though in a year like COVID, it's almost impossible to predicted, the significant demand. I think right now, if I was to guess, your largest problem isn't understanding what to sell. It's getting access to what you need. And so that's part of this goal here, is by collecting this information and using it responsibly and ethically, it helps all of us understand the market over time and make better decisions for each one of our businesses. So this is a small step in that direction. It's actually a leap in this direction. We've been going at this for 3 years now. It originally started with our distributors collecting and sharing just their shipment information. Distributors ship up to 75% of market categories like handguns. So if they can share all of their information into one place, we have a pretty good idea of where the market's going and when the peaks and valleys are in our production and our demand. So that's what CLX does, except we're aggregating anonymous data from stores. So I'll get into that a little bit, but just to kind of paint the vision here, imagine if you knew which products were in demand, right? So far, you have the interactions with your customers. They change day to day, they change week to week, and putting all of those those data points and that anecdotal information together is helpful. I can't pretend to know your business or ever assume all the knowledge that each one of you has about your business and about the industry. But all of those all of those interactions and all of those purchases are really data points, and they help us understand which products consumers are demanding. So imagine if you knew that not only what they were demanding, but when they were going to demand it well in advance, and then how it impacted your assortment, your inventory, and all of those things. So again, you have, I admire most of all in this industry, the experience, the nuance, the way that we've done business with a handshake for years and years and years. And this isn't meant to replace that. It never could or will. It's really meant to complement that. So the other is, and especially in a time like COVID here, talking about this third point, is imagine if every time you called your distributor, they had exactly the product you needed and it was coming to you without any hassle or heckle or issue. I understand for the most part that does happen, but in a year like this, again, world events can't always be predicted, but on a normal year, production planning is a huge issue, right? Manufacturers have a hard time estimating how many guns to produce. Distributors have a hard time estimating how many products to hold, and what when to order in advance of the next season. And so really the first indicator of all of that demand comes from the transactions that are coming from your store. If we can start to get all of that information in one place and analyze it better and share that information better, it helps every one of those businesses be more successful, because the product is there, the new markets are identified earlier, and ultimately we just get all of the businesses moving more seamlessly together. So and then I mentioned already manufacturers. That's one of the biggest things. We have markets. Take any new market, braced pistols, or the MSR market a few years ago, or even today. Just which of the, I know every product is in demand, but which of are hunting rifles still performing well in a time where handguns and self-defense ammunition and products are in exceeding 300% demand. So tracking those things becomes really important, and understanding where the new markets and new opportunities are is a really valuable piece of information for manufacturers. And then, actually at the most foundational level is, what if you had a good description every time you needed it? What if all of your products were mapped and described the same way as the manufacturer and on every other platform as well? So that's one of the just more broadly, and I kind of laugh about it, but it is a challenge, is standardizing information, standardizing data across our entire industry so that descriptions are clean and they make sense, that it's, a handgun is actually a handgun in your inventory, or this type of ammunition is I'm sure everyone's ran into a data issue or image quality issues. So that's part of what we're trying to wrangle in our efforts here as well with some of our other data solutions. So ultimately, and Michelle led to this too, every business, and I'll start this again. I'm not a consultant. I'm not an expert in your business by any means, and I certainly don't have even half the experience as the majority of the folks on this call. But I am respectful of all of that, and understand the power that data can add to and complement those that experience and those relationships, right? So imagine if your buyers had a better roadmap to which products were in demand, not only at your store, but in your region and at stores in your state and around you. And taking that to your distributor and saying, look, I know supply is tight, but this is what's in demand in our area, and I can help move that product. And so it just builds on that relationship you already have with distributors and your other suppliers, and helps in your buying decisions. And not only which products to buy, but how many, right? So improving your assortment at your store, improving and maintaining appropriate inventory levels so you can turn that product more quickly instead of having dollars tied up on your shelves. That ultimately helps you be more successful. It helps our distributors, be more successful as well, because they're not extending credit, right? We have a challenge every time you're buying more product than you need, hoping to hold on to that, and it extends the credit of each one of our distributors. And we've had cases where your suppliers go out of business because they're overextended, or they're not, that isn't a good business decision at the dealer level. And there's a number of issues, right? But ultimately, what I'm getting down to is that by buying the right level of product, by having the right assortment, you're actually more successful, and so is the distributor and manufacturer that supplies it to you. And then also just understanding the timeliness and the seasonality of all these markets. We know in our state when a particular season starts to pick up, and we can estimate the lead time that it takes to get that product on our shelf, to be prepared for clients coming in to buy that fancy new Winchester or whatever it might be. But this just helps us understand those trends more proactively and see it really with information, right? So the exact week, the exact lead time you need, and also again, the right assortment and right products that are going to be in demand for that season. Understanding, so the other part of data, not only in your buying and general business decisions, again, this is all meant to complement your business. It's not meant to be the Bible. It's just another kind of data point, but these are real transactions, right? It's not just nuance. It's not gut feel. It's not the latest marketing campaign from your favorite manufacturer. This is what sold in the past month. That's what we're talking about. Not anything beyond. It's the real transactions. So that also empowers your sales team, right? So if they have a roadmap of the top 20 products, for example, top 20 handguns for the month of July, or actually this is a slow month, if top 20 handguns for the month of May, right? They have a much better idea when they're out on their floor to make a recommendation to consumers on which products are popular. And if you don't have that product on your shelf, it's something you can look to adding to your assortment, and really just expanding your knowledge beyond your store. That's kind of the other benefit to this program is you certainly have a lot of information. You know your store, you know your customers. They're coming in and asking questions all the time. But what this does, it tells you the questions that consumers are asking at all the stores around you, right? There's a tremendous amount of value in broadening that perspective beyond what's known to you, and really adding to what's known across the state and across the region. So those are some of the benefits and practices, the application of this information to retailers that we're trying to do through what's called the SCOPE CLX Retail Report. So SCOPE CLX is essentially a data collection effort of retail point of sale information. Michelle, mentioned that earlier. What we're doing is working with partners like Celerant, and I say partners very intentionally, partners and Celerant clients, to collect that information completely anonymously and aggregate it into CLX. So my handy dandy visual here kind of tries to show that, but there's hundreds of FFLs, thousands of FFLs out there. Celerant has all of the best ones, of course, and right here is you, right? This red one, you share anonymous information right here. Again, all of that goes into this bucket called SCOPE CLX. It's a big, we all hear about the cloud, right? It's a database, completely secure, completely anonymous, and so does the transactions from all of these other dealers that are partners of SCOPE CLX. And so right now,
Ethan, I just want to jump in there for a second, because I know we've had some questions, through at our virtual client conference. We did a focus group, and of course, just speaking with a lot of the dealers who are our clients already, a lot of questions about, is it anonymous? So of course, here it says it's anonymous, but just so everyone understands, it truly is anonymous. Not only is your company name being aggregated into the reports, but we're not even sharing that information with the NASGW. So your data is your data. The sales data that's sent is truly anonymous, and it's being aggregated across the board with all different dealers and then put into these reports. So I just wanted to make sure to hit that.
Well, I'll go one step further. I know one of the largest concerns are my customers and our serial numbers being shared. And I can tell you right now, that's not even collected in the information. Bottom line, we need to know, again, completely anonymously, what was sold by UPSC, the amount it was sold, amount it was sold for, quantity sold, and then a geography, but it's not tied to your store. And I'll show you that here in the report shortly. It's not, and even driving, I'll go one step deeper, is, again, we're a nonprofit industry association. We're not a business stealing information. We're doing this transparently with you. And so if it's something you want to be a part of and benefit from, you're certainly welcome. And if at any point you want to opt out, that's always your right. We believe you own your data. We always will. And this entire program is designed to grow the industry, not anything beyond that. So we all just need to collect better information. So that's what this visual does. Again, you input information just like everyone else. It's completely anonymous, and then it's all sent back to you, right? So you're sharing a little, you're getting the aggregate in return. And what that looks like is this pretty report here currently. So the SCOPE CLX Retail Report in its current form, and again, this is V1. It's going to continue to grow over time as we get feedback from retailers. This is good information, but now I'd kind of like to know A, B, and C. And as you get more comfortable with data, and there's a few conversations we're having with Celerant too to make this even more dynamic. So a dashboard within Celerant software that you can just manipulate and compare not only what the market's doing, but how your business is doing in comparison. So that's a conversation. That's a future webinar, but if you want to chime in, please.
Yeah, just to elaborate on that. So for our Celerant clients, when you log into your back office software and you see the dashboard report for your business, eventually phase 2, what we'll do is we'll be pulling this aggregated data into our software from the NASGW, and there'll be a little button you can click on to then access the NASGW SCOPE CLX reports. And then just like you see your data that's specific to your business, there'll be another dashboard view where you'll be able to access and see the aggregated reports, the industry-wide data that the SCOPE CLX project they'll give us the data, and we'll put it into dynamic reports so that you'll have a nice dashboard within the Celerant point of sale back office software.
Perfect. Thanks, Michelle. So yeah, that's part of, again, a great value add for being a Celerant client, being a partner of both Celerant and SCOPE CLX. We're in this for the long term, and we're going to continue to grow. So we're able to do cool things like that. We're to make it seamless next to your current software. So just a subtle but not so subtle plug that Celerant's great. So in this report, this is just a screenshot, and keep in mind this is just a sample of data. It's not actually the real report or real trends, but basically how it'll work is you'll get a report monthly. It breaks it down by region, so you can see this is actually the same regions that the NSSF and the rest of our industry research partners use to break out the different segments of our country. We actually we collect it down to zip code, but in the interest of your safety and identifying your store, we'll never go there until we'll probably never go in the retail side. But what we're looking for next is to go down to state, right? So once we get 100 FFLs in every state or more, that becomes a really meaningful sample for state analysis. But right now, for the protection of all of our FFL partners, region is where we're going to start. And then we break it down by type, caliber, manufacturer, product. So you can see a nice list here, and I actually have a larger version that I can blow up and scroll through really shortly. So you can see here, we're looking at the West. We have a rolling 6-month trend. So over the past 6 months, this is how it's been. And you can imagine if you collect this over time, and as this program grows, we're able to layer on top last year's trend. I know that 2020 is going to be an anomaly for a number of things, but data, it certainly is. I can tell you, we were watching it really closely in March, and just watching ammunition, spike up to 325%. And then I go to Walmart's shelves and see 9mm ammunition was non-existent. So, but you can see here just an example of the trend. And then we break it down. Obviously, top firearm caliber is going to be 9mm, most popular handgun. Manufacturers, you can guess your big 3 or 4 up here. And then where it becomes really valuable is these top 20 products. And we list those more specifically down here. Again, don't get caught up in the numbers or anything like that. This is really just meant to be an example. It was made simply for this report or for this presentation. So, and then we break it down further into rifle and handgun and shotgun. And then we also go into ammunition and optics as well. I know one of the first questions is, well, what about deeper subcategories? What about top revolvers? What about top semi-auto? So on and so forth. And that's all. Again, that's all. We certainly have the capability to do that. For now, we try to keep our report short and concise, and then expand based on your feedback. So again, I'll emphasize this is a partnership, and your input is extremely valuable. So as you see a need for that, or even if you have a question, I can help with one-off questions anytime like that. But this is really just the beginning, right? We can expand into those subcategories. We're launching this official report to all of our partners in the next month. The analysis will expand over time, like I said, additional features, additional subcategories, and so on. Right now, we're trying to get this just to the market, to all of our partners. So that's where this not so subtle ask comes in. Is if you're a current Celerant client, we certainly encourage you to sign up. We'll walk through that process. It's literally a form, checking a box, and then if you have any questions, you can let me know, but we handle it from there. And then you're added to the distribution list when it's launched next month. But there's also a number of other things that will increase and improve over time, including advertising. I mentioned just data standardizations. NASGW has by far the largest number of SKUs tagged and mapped. And now we're adding images to all of those as well. So what that means for you is by working with the distributor and working with a number of working with SCOPE CLX, excuse me, you have access to a catalog of the industry standard of information and data. So, and that's developed in collaboration with NSSF and manufacturers. We're really excited about that. So ultimately all that feeds through and helps you. And then again, I mentioned already, you have plans to integrate with Celerant as soon as this kicks off, and we get to breathe a little bit. But I know we've been both Celerant and NASGW have been in hard development mode for some time. So looking forward to that. You know, as I'm looking at this, just again, reasons to partner, reasons to trust the mission behind this program is there's no cost to you and there's no risk, and a lot of value. Celerant and NASGW don't charge you anything for that. That's programs funded by distributors and by manufacturers through our membership and through partnerships there. And so ultimately it's no cost. Enrollment is simple and transparent. And then again, just to reemphasize, there's really no risk to your store. The only information that we keep is your name, so we can track to make sure that the data is consistent. That goes to a data integrity issue. It's never shared, as you saw in this report. There's no store names or anything like that. And I mentioned too, we're not going down to like zip code or anything. We just need to know where the product was sold, and so that we can show that information in accurately and responsibly in the report. And then the other, and again, I emphasize this, is we won't take your data without your permission, because it's yours. You own it, and then you always will own it. If this ever becomes something you're uncomfortable with, you can opt out at any time. So that's also an easy process. It's literally an email to scope@nasgw.org. So, and again, you get the report for free. But really, and again, this is my favorite part of my job, is that I'm not here trying to sell you anything, right? I'm here on behalf of the industry, and that we all love and we want to see grow into the future, and all the manufacturers that make all the great, amazing products and innovation for our customers and our businesses. That's what we're here to do, right? We're trying to build this in partnership with each of those businesses. We've already been working for 3 years through distribution data. Now we're just enhancing all of that with collecting retail data. So ultimately, our industry is going to benefit. So I don't know if, Michelle, you had this on yours as well, but really, I didn't have a call to action, so I figured we could email out the form to make it really easy. But I mentioned the enrollment process is very, very simple. All we have is a form that says, hey, I'm interested. You have my permission to enroll my organization. And then it sends me an email, and then me and Michelle's team take care of it from there. So you'll be joining actually 132. Michelle, I kind of forgot about this number. It surprised me, but we actually have 132 Celerant clients that are already interested, either already sending data or at some point of that engagement process. So you're in good company, is what I'm really saying there. And this is also in addition to we're collecting partnerships with other retailers through other means as well. So this number is going to continue to grow over 2020, which will be the largest number of. We're actually on pace to be the largest number of FFLs reporting to one system, and we're excited about that. And if you truly, you have more questions, you want to talk one-on-one, Michelle can attest to this. I'm a pretty accessible guy, and I'm more than happy to have a discussion at any time. So my contact information is here, which I don't know if we're sharing this out, Michelle, or not, but for those of you, you can find that in the signature, or save it if you want. But that's my spiel.
And thank you for that, Easton. And in addition to that, for those of you who are Celerant clients currently, you can reach out to your account rep, your implementation manager, anyone who you talk to at Celerant, because everyone at our team is very well aware of this project. And it's a really easy couple of steps just to get you set up with NASGW. We'll send you the link. You just fill out a couple of fields on it. That goes directly to Easton and his team, and then they send your Celerant account rep on our side what's needed on our side, and then we just go in and click a couple things in your system, and then you're just sharing data, and it really is that easy. And then if at any time you wanted to opt out, or for whatever reason you feel you just don't want to participate any longer, no issue there. You just let us know, and then we just we remove that from your system as easy as we put it on.
Perfect. So I don't know if anyone has questions. I know it's a little bit difficult, but if you want to type them in the question box, I can try to answer them here, or you can send me a note separately and I can respond. But really just want to take a moment to say thank you on behalf of NASGW and our distributors and our board of directors. It's really a pleasure to be here and working with great folks like Celerant, and I wish I could meet and speak more directly with each of you, but if I ever get the opportunity, please do stop and say hi. And again, email, call anytime. I'm more than happy to have a discussion about the program or ideas for improvement, and make this something really special for our industry. So with that,
Great.
I'm going to pass it to Michelle to wrap up.
Well, thank you, Easton.
There you go.
So if you have any questions, just go ahead and type them into that question box on the pane. And then Dave, I know you're on. For my system is frozen, so I can't see the questions, but you'll be able to see them and just ask them at the end. So I just wanted to give, for those of you who aren't currently a Celerant client, just a quick overview of who we are and what we offer. And so at Celerant, we offer 2 platforms, Cumulus Retail, which is really designed for small business, and then Stratus Enterprise, which is our more enterprise solution meant for more advanced retail. So both solutions can run your entire firearm business, everything from in-store, online, and range. The smaller dealers typically will start with Cumulus, and then our larger retail clients can start with Stratus, but the real beauty is you can start small with Cumulus and have that natural upgrade path to Stratus. So as you grow, our system will grow with you. Easton, can you just flip that slide for me? We're on the gun store and range slide. So our software manages your entire business from your brick and mortar, your gun store, your range, if you have a range. So it's mobile point of sale. So you can see the tablet there, but we really support most all tablets. You can take your point of sale on your tablet to any gun show, off-site, sidewalk sale, or of course, anywhere within your store as well. We have a full A&D book built within our software, as well as E4473. We also have integrations to FastBound if you prefer to use the FastBound A&D book as well. Vendor integrations, you can see some of the partners on the board there, Sport South, Big Rock, Lipsy, Xanders. I mean, you see all the names there, and there's even more than that. But we integrate with all these different distributors to offer things like catalog import, automated purchasing, online vendor feeds, and also e-commerce dropship. And then for range management, we can operate really your whole range. So everything from lane reservations to class and course scheduling, memberships, recurring billing. We even have for your store, if you have firearm rentals, repairs, by trade, or consignment as well. And if you can switch that slide, Easton. And then our big differentiator is we don't just provide a solution for your brick and mortar side of the business, but we also help dealers move into the online world. So if you're using our Cumulus platform, we have our Cumulus e-commerce, which is sort of a ready-made e-commerce is what we call it. And then if you're running our Stratus Enterprise solution, we have our custom e-commerce solution, which truly we're building custom e-commerce sites from the ground up. For both Cumulus and Stratus, we also offer full range management online. So you can offer to your dealers to access your website to reserve lanes, purchase memberships, sign up for classes and courses. Especially that's helpful now during COVID. You know, instead of having people come waiting online, possibly not even getting a lane, they can make all those reservations online beforehand. And then we have our FFL locator on our e-commerce sites, enabling you to drop ship firearms from the distributors, or even ship it out from your own business to local FFLs, so you can sell even firearms and accessories online. And then beyond your own e-commerce site, we offer marketplace integrations, but not just to the firearm industry marketplaces, also marketplaces like Amazon, eBay, and Walmart. For the firearms industry specifically, of course, we have Gunbroker, guns.com, gun.deals, and Weapon Depot is a new one that we're adding on now. And coming soon is also the newest marketplace, which is called Everest. And then beyond marketplace integrations, we also offer online digital marketing services. So we have an email marketing platform that you can integrate with our software. Now, dealers can do email marketing from really any email marketing platform like MailChimp or Constant Contact. But the real beauty with integrating and using our email marketing platform is so that your data, your email marketing platform integrates with both your point of sale and your e-commerce data. So you can send really personalized, really targeted emails to specific groups of people, your customers, based on their past purchases and their buying preferences. So it really gives you the ability to not just send generic emails, but to send really personalized email marketing meant specifically for certain customers. And then we have SEO services to really help your e-commerce site, not just launch your site, but try to get it really closer to page 1 or on page 1 for your most popular search terms with different search engines like Google. And then most recently, we've offered our curbside pickup application. One thing that we noticed all through COVID, especially early on, is that a lot of our clients were starting to implement curbside pickup, but it was becoming confusing, a little challenging, a little unorganized. So we quickly created a curbside pickup application, and we offer that to all of our dealers. It really just helps them streamline the process so that when your customer places an order on your website, they'll get a text message alert as soon as it's ready for pickup. And then once they arrive at the curb, they can click the link within the text message, and then that link notifies your store associate that their customer's at the curb. And it's just a nice streamlined notification system to make the process definitely more organized for curbside pickups. You can flip the slide again. And so that is it. I didn't want to go into too much about our software because we do have a lot of existing customers on the call who already know who we are. But if you're not using our software and you're interested in learning more, please reach out. We would love to schedule a one-on-one demonstration with you to show you our software more hands-on. And then the link is up, www.celerant.com/NASGW. That's the webpage where you can visit to learn more about our partnership with the NASGW, the SCOPE CLX. There's also a form on that page. If you just want to learn more and have more questions, you can fill that form out and someone from our Celerant team will reach out to you as well. And then Dave, I'm not sure, were there questions that were entered into the chat box?
Yep. Great. So thanks, Michelle. Thanks. There are a few questions that have come through. So the first one is, are the reports static or can they be drilled down into?
Good question. Currently, they're going to be static, but the integrations that we're talking about, and it's in our roadmap to make it an actual dashboard that is be able to drill down and make it dynamic. But for the rest of 2020, it's going to be a static report.
Okay. The second question that came in is this data going to be available to non-FFL retailers?
Non-FFL retailers. That's a good question. I guess I'd have to understand a little bit more why. So whoever asked it, let me know or reach out to me via email. But right now, I think the plan is just FFLs, just because we're trying to do this in partnership. So if you're not sharing data, I don't know that we would offer the report outside of that. But if there's a case for it, I mean, there's no reason we couldn't. It's more of just understanding the intent behind it and how you hope to benefit. For example, if you're looking at adding firearms to your line or becoming an FFL, perhaps that's something we can, of course, support you with, but just have to know a little bit more about why and what you were planning to do.
Okay. But Mike, if you need any further clarification on that, you can email either Scope or Celerant, and we can get you some more information and some more details on that. The next question up is this tracking only end user data?
End user data. So I will just kind of boil it down to it's really the transaction over the counter at a brick and mortar store. So whether it's shipped to an FFL or purchased in store, whatever that transaction that's recorded in Celerant's point of sale system, that is that transaction point, and even a return, right? So a return would be a negative sale, quote unquote, but those are all tracked as well in our system. So without understanding exactly what end user means, that's hopefully in the description of the data point that's captured and goes into that report.
Okay. The next question is, if retailer A buys from retailer B at MAP and then sells at MSRP, are both data points being tracked there, or how is that working if one retailer is buying or selling to another retailer?
That is a good question. Right now, I believe that it would be two separate transactions, but I wouldn't, unless there's a way to distinguish what, if it's a transfer, ultimately in the data, it's only going to record a customer. And so it would probably think that the second FFL was a customer, not another FFL buying at MAP. So but it's an interesting thing to look into. I'd want to know further if that happens frequently, or if it's, because if it happens a lot, it could skew the data. But if it's a limited number of transactions, that wouldn't pollute the sample. But I think it's a good point. I'm gonna actually write that down and look into it.
Okay. Yeah, Scott added that COVID has increased the need for this. So that's, I think, something we can look into there. All right, we have a couple more minutes. If there's any more questions anyone has, feel free to use the Q&A feature there.
And if not, any questions that you think of, you can send my way through the webpage there that you see, or of course through Easton directly as well. And so I thank everybody for joining us today. We did record this webinar, and we will have it accessible so that you can share it with your team if there's a need. And again, thank you so much for joining us. And if you have questions, feel free to reach out to anybody here at the Celerant team, or of course to Easton directly as well.
Thanks, everyone. Stay well.
Take care. Thank you, guys.